Hello, my friends. I am finally back with my next episode on my Mariner's Compass Medallion, my Kim McLean fantastic, what was I thinking, applique. Actually, it's a lot of fun and I'm enjoying it immensely. I am working on my first scalloped border. I have three of my borders are completed. This one is completed but hasn't yet been trimmed. So I still need to trim my bottom and trim my top. But I just wanted to show you, I'm actually making some progress. I have three done and I wanted to video before I finished my fourth one. So I'll put that over there. And I got all of my items prepped and ready. So I'm ready to finish off this last border. But I thought I would show you my process and how I accomplished this. So the first thing I did was I got my border fabrics marked and I used I don't know if it was a friction pen or one of those water soluble ones, but I used blue on my fabric. And the first thing I did was, you can see there's a line at the bottom that's 1/2 of an inch away from the edge, and then there's a slash down the middle of my fabric. Now the next thing I did, and of course I used my my light box for this next part. I took my pattern and I laid it on my light box, and you'll notice that there are, I don't know if you can really see that, but there's little like V's along there. Try and get you to see that. And that is marking where the ends of my scallops need to be as I work along this piece of fabric. And that's just a placement guide. I didn't feel like I needed to do the entire arc because just those sides and the line at the bottom give me the placement that I need. I gathered up because in my last video I told you I did 64 different fabrics. They're all different. And actually I guess I did 68 because my corner little leaf scallopy looking things are also different fabrics. So but you know, I gathered up all kinds. Look at all those beautiful threads, aren't they lovely? Because I am actually using a different thread. You know, I'm trying to match the thread for each one of my scallops. On my corner pieces, I went with similar colors. They're all like reds with some gold in them. And remember, I used freezer paper. So I just did freezer paper. I ironed it to the back and I folded it over and I basted it in place. That's my preferred method for doing applique anytime as possible. But because I had a particular color on each of my corners, when I went to lay out my scallops for each side, I kept that in mind so that when I got to the end, whatever was going to be on the end next to my corner, that it wouldn't be the exact same or really close in color value to that. So what I did with these 64 pieces that I got them all prepped, and here's one, it's all prepped. Look at him, isn't he cute? I was not real particular about that being a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch or whatever. I made sure it was at least 1/4 of an inch. But I wasn't real particular about exactly how much I was going to leave because I knew this edge of my paper becomes my lining up spot when I piece it. So as long as it was 1/4 of an inch or more, and again, it'll be trimmed, so it'll be okay. But I made each one of these, and then I separated those fabrics out into color groups. So I had all these different color groups, and then I just picked up 16. I just went through and I picked up 16, and that was for the first border, and 16 for the next border, 16 for the next, 16 for the next. Then when I did each border, I had my little stack, and then I laid them out. And this is my little design board. Hopefully it won't fall off. But I just kind of laid them out in a way that made me happy. So there's the fabrics for my last border. And you can see that my two end pieces here are not red because that's what my corner pieces are. Now what I've done, because what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to work from the center to the right, and I'll work from the center out to the left. So I took my fabrics, I have them laid out like this, and I counted over 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So from here over is one side. And I don't want to get them mixed up. So what I did was I said, okay, this is from the center and I'm going to work my way out. So I stacked them on top of one another in order. And this one is actually going to go to the left. So what I created for myself was a little ghetto piece of paper, because it's what I had, and my little clip thing. What do you call those? I can't remember, but they're fabulous for so many things. But I marked it from the middle to the left so that I didn't forget which direction I was going. And I just simply clipped it to the front of my stack. Okay, so I know when I'm doing from the left over, I will start with this as my middle. And once I've done that, I'll put that down and I will clip that bad boy on there again. Sure I will. You guys know what I'm saying. And so it keeps me in order, because things can get knocked off. You get, I don't know, things happen. You guys know things happen in our sewing rooms. Anyway, so that's how I kept these in order. And then on this side, obviously I have to stack them like this so that my middle is on the top, working its way down. Okay, and then I put my middle to the right on this stack, which I'm going to do right now, because if I don't, it will get lost in the sauce. And I'm going to fix this one right quick, put him back where he needs to be. When I guess I should leave that because I need a demo. Huh? Silly me. I'll just move these over here. Now, when I start here, I lined up, let's see if I can do this. There's my middle, and there is my mark. So what I did with this, I know you couldn't see it because I had it down. I line up this curve with that curve, okay? And this one should be at the center. I also check and make sure that my paper is at my blue line, and this one is not, so I need to move it down a little bit so that the edge of my paper is lined up. Oh, I'm doing a terrible job here, upside down. I want to line up the edge of my paper with that blue line, pin it in place, and then sew it down. And that's what I did. So I start from the middle and work in one direction, and then I come to the other side, start in the middle up from there, and work my way over to the other side. Once we've done that, now we're going to have a piece that is going to be like this, that needs to be trimmed down. And we're going to trim a 1/4 of an inch off the top and a 1/4 of an inch off of the bottom, getting it to the proper width that we want to sew it on to. And you can see this one has been trimmed. Look at that pretty flower right in the middle, almost like I planned it. And I may have or might not have. I don't really know. Anyway, once we have that done, then I'm going to, because we have to trim a couple, we have to trim them to the right length to go on our medallion. But I didn't do any of that. I thought about doing a little of it to show you what maybe it's going to look like, but I wanted to have all of my border pieces done, and then I'll lay them around my medallion and put them where I feel like they give me the most balance. Once then I've trimmed them and labeled which one is which. And I sew those on. At that point, then that's when I will add my corner pieces. And one thing I did want to say, when I'm doing these, if you look under here, that freezer paper is gone. Once I sew these pieces on, after every one, I pull out all these basting stitches that you see along here. And then you can simply reach under here, and then just remove the freezer paper. And knowing that we do have another scalloped border that's going to use quite a few more than 64, but I went ahead and I saved all of my scallops from this point. That's got 64. And because you can reuse these, I don't reuse them like several times, but they will still adhere at least one more time, and sometimes 2 more times. And if you're good, you might get 3 more times to your fabric because of that the wax that's on the back side of those. So I'm trying to be frugal and save my scallops for the next border when we get there. So I am now ready, since I've shown you all how I did my scallop borders. I am ready to sew these last pieces down, get this thing attached, and then move on to, oh, next is our hexagons. Yay, I'm so excited about those. I really love doing this. So anyway, until next time, I will be busy stitching, and I hope that you are too. I'll talk to you later.